We welcome you to Ton Minh Stadium in Ho Chi Minh City for the third and final game of the ABL Hoops Fest on this day 3. Alongside Darren Joe, I'm Sean Park, where the Indonesia Warriors take on the Westport Malaysia Dragons, and this is the last game of ABL Hoops Fest. And Darren, suddenly this game takes on critical importance in the ABL standings.
Absolutely. The San Miguel Beermen just defeated the Saigon Heat, giving them an 8-3 record. So if the Indonesia Warriors can beat, they have an 8-3 record currently. If they can win today over the 6-5 Westport Malaysia Dragons, then they'll be in sole possession of first place. And on the Malaysia Dragons side, if they score the upset over the Beermen, then they're going to keep it really close. Top 3 teams in this league.
The Dragons would move to within 1 game of the Warriors with a win tonight. Now, for the Indonesia Warriors, they suddenly find themselves guarding a much bigger Westport Malaysia Dragons team with Marcus Hubbard in the lineup.
Absolutely. Marcus Hubbard is a really big, tall guy, and along with Gavin Edwards and Moala Tatua, they form the biggest front court in the ABL. So they will really have to deal with the big men of the Malaysia Dragons.
Caroline Mahendra is our reporter today, and she is standing by with one of the owners of the Westport Malaysia Dragons.
Thank you very much, Sean. Well, right here next to me, we have Mr. Ruben Gana Lingam as the owner of Westports Malaysia Dragons. Sir, thank you so much for coming and supporting ABL Hoop Fest Saigon 2013. What do you think so far about the event?
Well, the last 3 days have been amazing. I have to really thank the Saigon Heat as host. They've done a great job in putting the whole thing together. I think the fans had a great time here, and the players, the teams, the management all had a fantastic time as well.
And of course, very fantastic is your squad right now. Westports Malaysia Dragons, first game against Heat, they won, and they are right now one of the strongest squad in ASEAN Basketball League. What is your opinion about that?
Well, I think, the league is a very open league. I think any team can beat any team on their day. So, and I think that's one of the strengths of the league itself. That that we have great teams all around, and teams that can compete with each other. So, we see. I mean, one day we seem to be the better team, and then another day we just don't seem to perform. But hopefully today is one of those days we perform.
Of course, as you can see, your local players are performing very well. Shifai, Bansi, you have Guga and Seelan, and they are the strongest players right now on your team, as you can say.
Well, our locals have definitely stepped up over the last 3 years. That's one of our objectives when we started the league, or we started the Dragons, and we're happy to see that they progressed and doing so well today.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ruben, for your support. And Sean, back to you. Thank you. Sorry, we can't keep the order.
Moala Tautua goes inside to Gavin Edwards, and Edwards with a pretty reversal. Now that makes it 3-2 after the Mario Wasong three-pointer opened the scoring for the Indonesia Warriors. So Warriors 3, Dragons 2, with 8:08 to go in the first quarter. Thomas goes inside, too strong on the 8-footer. This is Melton. Lo Shifai wants a 3 and will get it.
And Lo Shifai, one of the competitors this weekend in the three-point shootout, along with Mario Wusong, both players getting on the board with threes.
It's Lo Shifai, Justin Melton, Marcus Hubbard, Gavin Edwards, and Moala Tautua. Mario Wasong gets free for a jumper. And a whistle brings play to a halt. Chris Daniels going inside, he's fouled. Get a look at Todd Purvis, head coach of the Indonesia Warriors, trying to keep them in first place. He begins play today. Daniels, Wusong, Thomas, Christian Satepu, and John Smith. Wusong had 20 points in the Warriors' win on Friday. Crossover dribble, penetrates, baseline, the kick Left side, no good for Satepu. Dragons break out. Melton looking to go 1-on-2 on a tough angle, goes in and out. Thomas clears glass. An ill-advised shot from Justin Melton.
Melton, known as Mouse in his college days. Explosive player, can really elevate. Threw down a big reverse jam the other day.
Kick ball by the Dragons. So they put 14 seconds on the shot clock. Satepu will inbound. John Smith having an excellent 2013 ABL season. Down to Wusong. Daniels passes out of the double team. Thomas is blocked by Hubbard. There's the athleticism and explosiveness we have seen from Hubbard in his second game with Malaysia. Foul in the interior.
And Marcus Hubbard is just a fantastic athlete, as we just saw on that block. He's tall, he's long, he can jump through the roof, and he's really going to make the defense a lot better for the Dragons.
Gavin Edwards had it squirt out of his hands. It was last touched by Smith. Dragons keep it with 19 seconds on the shot clock. That the second team foul on the Warriors. Ariel Vanguardia asking for Melton to get the ball.
We can see the Warriors moving to a 1-2-2 zone to try to defend against the bigger Malaysia team and keep their size in check.
Wusong to the baseline. Knocked out of his hands. And that will be Dragons ball. So a couple of early turnovers and a grimace on the face of Todd Purvis.
The Indonesia Warriors are such a great team. Every player is solid at all 5 positions, and they do a great job of rotating the ball around and getting it to the open player.
Tautua checked by Wusong. Satepu guarding Hubbard. They go inside Gavin Edwards.
Gavin Edwards had an absolute monster game yesterday, scoring over 30 points, over 14 rebounds, and he's one of my favorite players, just so fundamentally solid down there.
That was his best game of this ABL season. John Smith for Thomas, who couldn't handle it. Hubbard has Melton with him. Dangerous combination. Blocked emphatically by Daniels. Wow.
He sent that ball back into the stands as we watched the replay. That's what I'd call, Sean, a swat.
No question. 5:53 remain in the first. Melton just rejected. Now has the ball.
You can see a real defensive battle between the two teams here.
Tautua short on the 3. Wusong with one man with him. And a foul off the ball. They're going to call this on Lo Shi-Fai. And that is the second team foul for the Dragons. So Warriors and Dragons with 2 team fouls. Chris Daniels. Blocked by Edwards. Wusong has it. Shot clock continues to run. Daniels flashes inside, and Marcus Hubbard greets him at the basket, and Daniels will go to the stripe.
How much fun is this to watch? You have 2 big men from the Warriors, Steve Thomas and Chris Daniels, going up against Marcus Hubbard and Gavin Edwards, and it is just a battle of big men right now, Sean.
Woo. Ariel Vanguardia, animated. He knows the importance of this game. The Dragons have already lost twice to the Indonesia Warriors. So I'm sure Ariel Vanguardia thinking ahead to a possible tiebreaker situation at the end of the regular season. Daniels hits the first. Free throws have been a problem for the Indonesia Warriors, shooting under 60% this season. 1 of 2. And a low-scoring opening quarter with 5:14 to go. Tautua, skip pass. Warriors intercept that. Neither team taking particularly good care of the ball. Daniels, quick pass inside. Thomas trying to get his defender off his feet, and does. The foul will be on Marcus Hubbard.
And that's Hubbard's second foul. And Edwards had his hands up there on defense, but Hubbard, trying to come from the weak side for the block, gets called for the foul. And let's see if Coach Van Guardia subs him out.
Timeout on the floor, 4:56 to go in the first. A low-scoring affair at Tonbin Stadium. Dragons 5, Warriors 4 as we step away. Welcome back to Tonbin Stadium. Caroline Mahendra, Darren Joe, and Sean Fark were on hand for the third and final game on this, the final day of the 2013 ABL Hoops Fest. If you are just tuning in, wins earlier today for the Chang Thailand Slammers, who beat the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers, and the San Miguel Beermen blowing out the Saigon Heat. The 8-3 Indonesia Warriors meeting the 6-5 Westport Malaysia Dragons. Steve Thomas, 1 of 2 at the line. Warriors, midway through this first quarter, just one field goal, Darren.
Just one field goal, but they've also put a lot of pressure on the Dragons' defense, which the Malaysia Dragons already have 14 fouls, Sean.
Edwards flips to Melton. Hubbard and Christian Satepu had locked up Marcus Hubbard. A foul that the Warriors will gladly take. Tautua goes outside to Hubbard.
The Warriors are in a 2-3 defensive set here.
Tautua, he's now 0 for 2.
So it looks like the 2-3 set is working in terms of keeping the Dragons' big men out of the paint, forcing them to shoot jumpers.
Both teams cold to begin this game. Jarek Kanyata in the game. Daniels bangs with Edwards, blocked by the Yukon star. In traffic, Hubbard, clean block by Chris Daniels. He has been a monster defensively in this first quarter. Kanyata at the other end, floater, and flashing in, Chris Daniels, explosive at both ends.
What can you say about Chris Daniels? Mo Tautua is rarely ever stopped when he goes in for the jam, and Daniels with a big block and finish on the other end.
Lo Shifai, show and go move, stops from the elbow and cans the 15-footer.
One of the best pure shooters in this league.
Kanyata, a little head fake. Thomas with the right hand, a brick. Daniels saves it, and it goes off Hubbard. Hustle play by Chris Daniels, who has brought his A game to Saigon.
And with loads of energy too, Sean. He is all over the place, all over the court, getting loose balls, blocking shots, grabbing balls before they go out of bounds. Amazing performance from Chris Daniels.
Wusong free for the three. And off the back of the window.
Wusong narrowly made the finals of the three-point competition yesterday. Scored 11 points out of 30.
Melton sauntering up the floor. Hubbard tried to hit Melton underneath. Wusong got in the middle of that. Daniels inside. Thomas, one bounce, kick out. Kanyata for Daniels. They swing it. And Chris Daniels talking it over emphatically with Christian Satepu.
Sean, it looks like the Dragons are having a bit trouble offensively. Maybe it's because they've had so many different import players come in over the course of this season. Sammy Monroe put up a lot of great games for the Dragons, but he's no longer with the club. And now with Hubbard in, looks like they're trying to find their offensive identity.
And they'll have a decision to make, Darren, before the April 7th deadline set by the ABL for roster changes, what to do with Gavin Bozeman. Satyasilan Kupasamy throws that one out of bounds.
Both teams are really struggling to put up points on the board in this first quarter.
Thomas. Floater, no good. Totoa pulls that down. Here's Mario Wusong in transition, up for Kanyata, and he lays it in.
What a beautiful play by Mario Wusong. Catches the ball and has the presence of mind to pass to Yerrick Kanyata, finishing over Tatua. What a finish by Kanyata.
One of the quickest players in the ABL, Yerrick Kanyata. Lo Shifai, spin move. Loose ball. Chris Daniels coming up with it. Under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Daniels running the floor. Bounce pass. Back to Thomas. And he's strong off the glass for the deuce.
I think Kanyata might have gotten away with the double dribble there, but the Warriors will take the layup from big Steve Thomas. Nice finish there.
Warriors up 11-7. Daniels ripping it out of the hands of Tautua. Up for Satepu. Satepu gathers himself. Warriors slow it down with 1:20.
And this is why the Warriors are at the top of the league, Sean, because they're such a disciplined team. They don't rush shots, they take their time, and they make the right plays.
Wusong came off a screen. Dragons kick it out of bounds. And the Dragons will call timeout. Convenience store scoreline with the Dragons trailing 7-11. One more look at the last play. That was last touch by the foot of Moala Tautua. Westport Malaysia Dragons with an easy win over an undermanned Saigon Heat team on Friday. Saigon dropping both games, as you would expect, without their highest scoring player in Dior Lauhorn.
Absolutely. Saigon Heat, it was a really tough weekend for them, even though they did a great job hosting this ABL Hoops Fest event. You know, without Dior Lauhorn, they only have one big player, and that's David Palmer. And they just really struggled to get any sort of inside baskets, and their perimeter players couldn't knock down three-pointers.
And the Heat find themselves in last place in the ABL. The Chiang Thailand Slammers did themselves a world of good with a narrow 2-point win over the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers in a game that tipped off the third day of ABL Hoops Fest.
Yeah, I caught the end of that game, and the Slammers were so excited to win that game. They've lost a few, and they're just trying to get back on track.
Leo Austria, head coach of the San Miguel Beermen, he has got them to an 8-3 record, currently tied with these Indonesia Warriors. Wusong for three. Daniels skying for it, gets the offensive rebound. Richard Smith comes out for a screen for Kanyata. It goes off his foot. Smith comes up with it. Satepu for the triple. And Melton saving the loose ball.
It's a great defensive possession from the Dragons there.
Dragons can play 2 for 1 here with 33 seconds to go in the first. Guga now in the game for the Dragons. Gavin Edwards, a deuce if it goes. Kanyata, Darren, slowing down, waiting for the Warriors to get in position. He will now hold for last shot. Foul by Satya Seelan Kupasamy. That will put Mario Wasong on the line as it's the 5th team foul for the Dragons.
And I'm sure Seelan from the Dragons would love to have that foul back. You know, shot clock's running down, only 9 seconds left in this first quarter, and you commit a reaching foul when the player is nearly at half court.
Have to be aware of both ball and time in this sport. Ariel Vanguardia wants to get Hubbard back onto the floor because the Dragons will get the ball back with 8.6 seconds left. The Wasong make gives them a 12-7 lead, and the Dragons will get one off, or at least try to close out this first quarter. Melton changes speeds. Tautua reversal. Wow, as easy as you like. And that brings the first quarter to a close. Just like Ariel Vanguardia diagrammed it. At the end of 1 here at Tan Binh Stadium, the Indonesia Warriors lead the Westports Malaysia Dragons 12-9. The second quarter when we come back. Okay. Boehm. We ready to come back? You want to count me in, or? Second quarter set to go here at Tan Binh Stadium. The Indonesia Warriors, the defending league champions, leading the Westports Malaysia Dragons 12-9. As I say that, Guga drops in the three-point bomb, and we are locked up at 12, Darren Joe.
What a beautiful stroke from Guga, the team captain.
Thomas momentarily knocked out of his hands. Kanyata off a screen. And it will go out of bounds. The second quarter begins for the Indonesia Warriors with John Smith, Jarek Kanyata, Richard Smith, Steve Thomas, and Christian Satepu. For the Dragons, Justin Melton, Marcus Hubbard, Gavin Edwards, Guga, and Moala Tautua. So they bring out the big lineup, Darren, to begin the second quarter.
Yeah, this is going to be a game. Which team plays better defense?
John Smith along the baseline, simply undressing Guga on his way to the rack.
John Smith with a nifty crossover, finishes with the left over the outstretched arm of Marcus Hubbard.
Back to the live action. Guga whips a pass to Melton. Melton penetrates the trailer, Hubbard, and it's knocked out of his hands.
And that's a strong, aggressive cut from Marcus Hubbard. Wasn't able to score a point in that first quarter, but really trying to be aggressive, get to the free throw line.
Bon Sin Wee set to check in. And Justin Melton will sit down. The coat is off for Todd Purvis. So he is really into this game now, Darren.
Yeah, he knows that he's up against a very tough Westport Malaysia Dragon squad.
Marcus Hubbard at the line. This is the second game in a Dragons uniform. Hubbard replacing the released Sammy Monroe, who in turn replaced the injured Gavin Bozeman. Marcus Hubbard was on the Los Angeles Clippers Summer League roster.
And we can see why, Sean. He is just a phenomenal athlete. It's great to have a player like this in the ABL.
Warriors leading 14-13. Bon Sin Wee tying up Jarek Kanyata.
So we see the Dragons going to a full court press here, try to get the Warriors out of their offensive rhythm.
Kanyata with the high dribble. Goes past Hubbard, and that is not a foul Marcus Hubbard wanted to take, fouling the Warriors point guard. I think Hubbard was surprised by the speed of Kanyata. We see it here.
Yeah, Hubbard, that's just not a smart foul, Sean, because he already has 2 fouls. Only 5 fouls allowed in this game, and he just reached. I mean, you want to pick up a foul going for a block.
You can see him try and get his hand out of there, but Kanyata simply too quick. Kanyata with Bon Sin Wee. Locking horns. Daniels puts his body into Tautua. Off the heel of the iron. Guga. And it goes off his foot. Trying to strip Daniels. Foot on the line, and Guga with some hustle gets a turnover, and it'll be Dragons ball.
Very fortunate for the Dragons there. Guga had numbers. They had a 4-on-2 break, and he turned the ball over, but luckily the Dragons will get the ball back.
Guga for 3. Yes!
And he's come out on fire, Sean, knocking down 2 beautiful 3-pointers, hitting nothing but twine, as we see the replay.
Daniels setting the screen for Kanyata. Bon Sin Wee having all kinds of problems with the Filipino Flash.
You know, Bon Sin Wee is really testing how close the refs are going to call this game, initiating contact with Kanyata. Now he knows he can't guard him so closely.
Entry pass to Satepu. Turnaround jumper is good with a shooter's roll.
It's a nice play from Satepu, creating space from the taller Edwards to drain the shot.
Tautua inside. Edwards sends it back to Bon Sin Wee. He drives low, down inside. Chris Daniels so active at both ends. He did a number on the boards in the first quarter.
As we watch the replay, we see Chris Daniels go for another steal. He already has 3 steals, 2 blocks, and 7 rebounds.
Edwards tripping on his way to the rack. Now, Edwards scored. They didn't give him the basket initially, and they're waving it off, saying he dribbled before the foul. So we'll see if we get another look at that. Here it is. Yeah, that's the right call. Nowhere close to continuation.
So looks like Satepu stuck out his leg there. Saw Edwards was getting past him and tried to slow his progress a little bit.
So, non-shooting foul. Dragons bring it in. 2 team fouls on the Warriors, 3 for the Dragons. Justin Melton, kick out. Lo Shi-Fi for the long 2. Kanyata on the right side. He backs it out. Screen from Thomas. Reversal. The pick and roll blown. Guga protecting the ball well with Wissong giving chase.
What a finish by Guga. The captain, realizing his big men aren't getting easy looks, knocks down 2 3-pointers and finishes strong with the left hand.
This is Guga's 4th year in the ABL. He's never played better. Melton intercepts a weak pass off a difficult angle. Tautua mistiming his jump.
See if the Warriors can settle down here. Last 2 possessions have led to 2 turnovers.
Thomas with 2 defenders on him. Gets it to go. Soft hands around the hoop.
That's big Steve Thomas with some big man moves. He's been doing that for many years here in the ABL.
Tied at 18 with 6:35 to go. Low, triple try into the hands of Thomas. Outlet pass to Kanyata. And the foul is on Guga. Jarek Kanyata just turning the Dragons' backcourt inside out.
He's almost too fast for his own good, Sean. Sometimes maybe a little out of control, but he only has 1 gear, and that's Mach 10.
4th team foul against the Dragons, and we still have 6:20 to play in the first half. Mario Wissong, and the tap back by Daniels.
Who else would you expect to get a tap back in this game, Sean? Chris Daniels is all over the floor. Definitely his team's MVP so far.
Warriors up 2018. Thomas knocking that out. Dragons will have it with 11 seconds on the shot clock.
So usually the...
Oh, Satya Seelan, as the Warriors go to sleep on defense, Edwards, 3rd crack at it, and Thomas commits the foul.
Yeah, they even caught me off guard. They inbounded that pass so fast and caught that Warrior team sleeping, absolutely, and now they'll get 2 shots at the line. Gavin Edwards played 4 years with Connecticut.
Playing for one of the greatest college coaches of all time, and Jim Calhoun.
And I see that in his game. He's just so fundamentally solid, is never rattled by any situation, and quietly puts up big numbers.
And he has been the one constant for the Malaysia Dragons, the import joining the team in the offseason. He hits 2, and we are knotted up at 20. If you like team defense, this is the game for you. Satya Seelan sends that one out of bounds.
So Justin Melton putting a lot of pressure on Kanyata, bringing up the ball.
Tautua in the face of Daniels. Satepu, that pass intercepted. Here comes Lowe off the window. He gets it.
Lo Shi-Fi, not only a 3-point bomber, but can use his size to create space, as we see the nice finish from Lo Shi-Fi.
More and more, the Malaysian contingent making a contribution to the Dragons. Thomas regains control. Kanyata fakes the 3, 4 seconds to shoot. Melton simply taking it away. Melton goes back on a no-look pass, and Edwards wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, I think Melton could have taken that one himself, but he heard the footsteps of Satepu and chose to throw a pass that was too low for big Gavin Edwards to handle.
Trying to hit the big man. Ariel Vanguardia was looking for the television timeout, which a coach cannot call, obviously. 22-20, Dragons lead. John Smith. Tautua bodying up with Daniels.
Two participants from yesterday's slam dunk contest going at it.
Oh, Steve Thomas had it blocked by Edwards. That play snuffed out well by the Dragons. Low Shi-Fi, and that's blocked by Daniels. He taps it out. Dragons coming up with it. Oh, Seelan just avoids an over and back. Melton on the three. Frenetic play on the Warriors' end of the floor. The foul is on Daniels. Mandatory timeout with 4:25 to go in the first half. It continues to be tight. Dragons 22, Warriors 20, and you're watching the ABL live stream. We welcome you back to Tan Binh Stadium. 4:25 to go in the first half. The Westport Malaysia Dragons leading the Indonesia Warriors 22-20. That lead extended courtesy of Satya Seelan Kupasamy. His two gives them a 4-point lead. Dragons spreading the offense around. The other end, Thomas gets the Dairy Queen swirl and drops. Thomas well on his way to a double-double tonight.
He's a double machine in the ABL, and the Westport Malaysia Dragon perimeter players have done a great job stepping up on offense, led by Lo Shi-Fi, Guga hitting some threes, and now Sealy. So they're keeping their team in it with their good shooting.
Daniels cuts that off. Melton at the other end.
It's 4 steals for Chris Daniels already in the second quarter.
Edwards from the free throw line banks it in.
Well, he's one cool customer, Sean. Just calmly steps up and knocks down the free throw line jumper.
I'll correct myself. He did not bank that in. A little stop start for Wusong. Daniels putting it on the floor and a reach-in foul. They're going to call that on Gavin Edwards.
Oh, they actually called the foul on number 33, Mo Tatua, and he is furious.
That foul puts the Dragons over the limit with 3:13 to go. With 3:13 to go in the second quarter.
The Warriors, unlike the Dragons, unable to find any sort of scoring from their perimeter players.
Warriors continue to be about 50% from the free throw line. Melton, 360 move, he's into the paint. And the foul will be on Amin Priantono, who had just checked into the game.
Woo. He put his defender in the spin cycle, Justin Melton, with some serious handles.
Melton, born in Papangas in the Philippines, but grew up in the USA.
Went to Mount Olive College,
a D2 school. John Smith catches up to that one. Dragons pressing. Wusong patiently waits. Now Smith down the middle, drains it.
What a clutch three from John Smith. Wow. Boom, what a shot.
Sealand. Tautua back to Melton. Justin Melton. Tautua. And that's going to be 2 at the line for Moala Tautua.
We can already see why the Dragons love Justin Melton, the mouse, because he finds those little nooks and crannies and creates lots of opportunities for his big men. So even though he's a smaller player, maybe 5'9", he's able to find all sorts of seams in there.
So Tautua at the line.
Tautua was busting out some pretty nifty dance moves yesterday as he, Jai Reyes from the Heat, and Brian Williams from the Beermen put on a show for the crowd. So he's got not only basketball moves, but some nice dance moves as well.
One make and one miss for Tautua. Dragons lead 28-26. John Smith, penetration. Melton, changing gears. Brutal pass by Melton. Wusong.
It's a tough play. If you're a point guard out there, you can't pick up your dribble. Keep your dribble going until you find your open man, then make the pass.
Screen. Here's Wusong. All set up by the screen at the top of the key. And Wusong shakes free for the triple. Melton looking to answer. Thomas knocked it out, so the Dragons will have it and a full 24 seconds to work with.
A min from the Warriors was just daring Melton to shoot that three. So knows that he can't stay in front of Melton, so daring him to shoot the jumper.
Ariel Vanguardia wants to talk it over. Scoring now picking up 29-28 with 1:28 to go in the first half. If you're just tuning in on the ABL live stream, this is the third and final game of the last day of the inaugural ABL Hoops Fest. The Chiang Thailand Slammers and the San Miguel Beermen with wins earlier today. Slammers taking care of the Slingers and the Beermen making short work of the Saigon Heat on their home floor. So the Beermen win a pair of games this weekend, Darren, and in doing so, propel themselves into a first-place tie with these Indonesia Warriors.
Sean, if you ask me, there's no better team in the league right now at this midpoint of the season than the San Miguel Beermen. They're playing with so much confidence. They've won 6 straight games, and the combination of Chris Banchero, Brian Williams, and now Justin Williams, who provides so much fantastic defense for that squad, of course with Talava in there as well, is just a force to be reckoned with. Look out for them to come on strong in the second half.
Very big team. One of the owners of the Westport Malaysia Dragons. This a big game for both the Warriors and Dragons. For Malaysia, a win here, and they would be within 1 game of both the San Miguel Beermen and these Indonesia Warriors. Guga off the mark on his attempted three. John Smith behind everyone for the lay-in, and Guga with the foul, so an and one for John Smith.
John Smith is providing just the spark for the Indonesia Warriors need. Knocking down a three and breaking out on the fast break with the left-handed finger roll off the glass.
Smith was brought in by the Indonesia Warriors when Stanley Pringle went down with a meniscus injury before the season began, and John Smith, who was a Saigon Heat last season, has had a sterling campaign with the Indonesia Warriors thus far. Guga circles off a screen. They swing it to Melton. Melton goes inside and goes off the glass.
Melton climbed the roof there. Little man, get up!
Wusong, and an offensive foul. Moving screen. Take a look at Steve Thomas. He did not have his feet set. That's not allowed.
And Sean, this is as even of a game as I've seen this entire season. These teams look absolutely equal to me.
One field goal separating them with 40 seconds to go. Knocked out. Dragons keep it with 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Both teams are just so disciplined on offense. They don't rush shots, they don't hurry shots, and they move the ball. If you love basketball, you love to watch these two teams play great team defense and offense.
Guga flips to Lo Shi-Fai. Corner three. That will count, and he'll go to the line for a possible 4-point play.
Lo Shi-Fai was my favorite to win the three-point contest yesterday. Didn't come through, but he's sure coming through tonight, knocking down some big threes, and maybe he'll talk about this on TV. I heard he's also a television star in Malaysia, Sean.
That basket gives the Dragons the lead.
Just got a beautiful stroke.
4-point play is completed. So a seesaw first half currently favors the Dragons.
What a matchup we have here. Jared Kenyatta against Justin Melton, two of the fastest players in the league.
Thomas came out for the screen. Wusong launches the three. Skying for it was Tautua. Ariel Vanguardia saying last shot. Melton for Tautua to the basket, pops it up, loose ball, and that brings the first half to a close. Folks, we have got a good one going on at Tan Binh Stadium. At the half, the Westports Malaysia Dragons lead the Indonesia Warriors 34-32. First half analysis when we return on the ABL live stream. We welcome you back to Tan Binh Stadium, where we are at the half. The Westports Malaysia Dragons looking to get within one game of the Indonesia Warriors. Lead 34-32. Ariel Vanguardia getting everything he wants out of the first 20 minutes. He's standing by with our Caroline Mahendra.
Thank you very much, Sean. Next to me, we have Coach Ariel from the Westports Malaysia Dragons. 2 points difference. It was a very, very hard first half. What adjustment are you going to make for the second half, Coach?
Well, the Warriors is the only team we haven't beaten this season. And those defeats we had to them, they outlasted us. But so we just have to play possession by possession. You know, they're a team that grinds it out, and we have to stay with them too. We have to grind it out and have a chance to win it in the end game too.
We still have 2 more quarters, sir, Coach, so good luck for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Back to you, Sean.
Caroline, thank you. A grind is exactly what the first 20 minutes were, Darren Joe. 34-32, low-scoring game, lots of team defense. And as Ariel Vanguardia said, it was very much possession by possession, a kind of game that favors a big Dragons lineup.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the statistics, these two teams are neck and neck. They have the same amount of blocks, the same amount of rebounds, and are shooting the same percentage from the field, 12-32. These two teams are as close as you can get.
Second chance points, so important in a game like this. Chris Daniels already with 10 boards.
Chris Daniels is an absolute beast. He is everywhere on the floor. He's getting blocks and steals and rebounds. He has 10 rebounds in the first half already.
We were talking about how the teams are shooting well. They're up close to 40%, quality possessions, turnovers, hurting the Dragons in that first quarter, but taking better care of the ball in the second.
Yeah, the Dragons gathered their composure, and they had a number of their perimeter players knock down some big shots, led by Guga with 2 threes, and then Lo Shi-Fai leading his team with 11 points. So, as we can see, this is a real chess match between two extremely well-coached teams that are very disciplined in what they are trying to do on both ends.
So Todd Purvis, the Warriors coach, he has to be concerned because Marcus Hubbard, the most explosive player the Dragons have, only 1 point in that first half, yet the Dragons already lead 34-32. You have to figure that Hubbard gets untracked in the second half.
Oh, absolutely. He picked up his 3rd foul early in the second quarter, and the Dragons really need him on the defensive and offensive ends.
Indonesia Warriors, not only the San Miguel Beermen chasing in the standings, these same Westport Malaysia Dragons, with a win today, would move 1 game behind them. We take a look at the stats in that first half. As you mentioned, Darren, field goal percentage even, very little to choose from. 3-point field goal percentage just about even, but the Warriors, 56% at the free throw line. That is poor.
So that poor shooting percentage might just come back to haunt them, Sean. I mean, the Dragons are only up by 2 points. If they made a few more free throws, the Warriors could have a lead.
5 of 9 from the stripe for the Indonesia Warriors. We'll see how much that is a factor in the second half. We'll step away, and when we return, the third quarter, you're watching the ABL on the live stream. Okay, so points off the bench. Welcome back to Tan Binh Stadium. Westport Malaysia Dragons leading the Indonesia Warriors 34-32. This is Chris Daniels. And Steve Thomas sees that go off his foot. Sean Farquhar alongside Darren Joe on the call for this one. In that first half, very little to choose between these two teams statistically, as you would expect, with just a 2-point edge. But points off the bench for the Dragons, so important, Darren, in the first 20 minutes.
Absolutely. The Dragons are outscoring the Warriors 10-2 off the bench, with Captain Guga leading the way with 8 points.
Off the Dragons turnover. Here's Wusong, entry pass to Thomas. He flips to Daniels. Outside Satepu for 3. Yes! And a whistle after the 3 was hit. And you can see the chemistry that Steve Thomas and Chris Daniels had. They played together in college, University of Georgia, and they're like brothers out there as we watch Satepu calmly knock down the 3-point shot. But the Indonesia Warriors really love to go to this 3-2 offensive set where they have 3 perimeter players and Steve Thomas and Chris Daniels posting up down low. Now Thomas is upset because he just picked up his 3rd foul with the second half just underway. So that could be big for the Warriors. Here's Moala Tautua. Lo Shifai swings at Guga outside to Melton. 3 guards on the floor for the Dragons. He dumps Edwards, and the Dragons do not get a shot off. Give the Warriors credit for lockdown defense over 24 seconds.
Great defense from the Warriors. And in this game, Sean, there's been 11 lead changes and 6 ties. This is so close.
Daniels looking to attack the rim, scores, and will go to the line.
So interesting coaching move here from Ariel Vanguardia, the Malaysia Dragons, starting the game without Hubbard, their 3rd big man. And the Warriors are really abusing that right now going into Chris Daniels and Steve Thomas.
The foul is on Moala Tautua. And for Tautua, that will be his 2nd. So Daniels, 6 points, 10 rebounds. As you mentioned, Darren, he has been with active hands, 5 steals. So looking for more from the stripe.
Refs making sure that the floor is not slippery. There's been a lot of injuries in the ABL this season.
And of course, this is the 3rd game that has been played today at Tan Binh Stadium. On this, the final day of the inaugural ABL Hoops Fest. All 6 teams playing 2 games over 3 days, with the games counting in the regular season standings. Lo Shifai. Dragons looking to do something in the half court after the shot clock violation the last time down the floor. Lo Shifai elevating right into the hands of Thomas. Smith circling. The trailer, Thomas, coming from the weak side. And Ariel Vanguardia has seen enough with the Warriors going out in front 40-34.
We see Steve Thomas with the finish. The Warriors have come out on fire with 6 straight points in this 3rd quarter. John Smith, what a drive to the hoop, and finds the cutting Steve Thomas for the finish.
An 8-0 run for the Indonesia Warriors, who are looking to maintain sole possession of first place. Their record 8-3. A win today, they would go to 9-3. With a loss, they would drop to 8-4, putting them a half game behind a surging San Miguel Beermen team who earlier today dismantled the Saigon Heat.
Yeah, funny that you say that, Sean, because even if the Indonesia Warriors win today's game and go to 9-3, they have lost both games against the Beermen.
1-1 in fact. Indonesia beating San Miguel in Manila, and in fact, the Beermen have beaten Indonesia 2 times in Jakarta, so they have one more game to play in the regular season, and it will be at the Inara Sports Arena. So for Indonesia, very important that they win this game and maintain a 1-game lead over the San Miguel Beermen. Justin Melton through traffic, outside Edwards for 3. Skying for it is Chris Daniels.
And if you're Coach Purvis, you love to see Gavin Edwards, the big man of the Dragons, shooting a 3-pointer.
Smith outside, Daniels, Sitepu all by himself, knocks down another tray.
One of the few defensive breakdowns from the Dragons, leaving Sitepu, the team's resident 3-point marksman, open, and he knocks it down.
Tautua goes down Broadway and crashes into Steve Thomas, but Tautua gets the hoop.
What a finish from Tautua. I mean, now we know why he was in the inaugural slam dunk contest.
Smith reversing, Daniels from the free throw line. All cotton for Chris Daniels.
Warriors clicking on all cylinders, offense and defense right now in this third quarter.
Marcus Hubbard from downtown. Not normally his shot.
And we can see that the Warriors' 2-3 defense is really working its magic as the Dragons' big men are taking 3-pointers. Forced to take 3-pointers.
Daniels outside, John Smith from downtown, swish!
And the Warriors starting to blow this game open just a tad, with Sitepu and Smith knocking down 2 big threes.
Now a 15-2 run for Indonesia. Hubbard with a foot on the line. That'll be Warriors ball.
We see Edwards trying to work with his other big man, Marcus Hubbard, and Hubbard being new to the squad, they're still figuring out their chemistry.
Todd Purvis staying with this lineup. They hold the hot hand. We have played 4 minutes here in the third. Daniels outside, Sitepu once more, and will get it! Christian Sitepu with a trio of threes here in the third.
He is on fire, Sean, as he steps up and calmly knocks down the 3. I mean, if you want to draw a way to beat a 2-3 defense, the Indonesia Warriors just did that right there.
In and out for Gavin Edwards, and Ariel Vanguardia looks to take another timeout as soon as he can. An 18-2 run for Indonesia.
The Dragons have only scored 2 points this third quarter.
Mario Wasong from deep, yes! They have exploded from beyond the arc here in the second half.
Mario Wuswong, great 3-point shooter, and the Warriors are putting on a 3-point shooting clinic here in Tom Bid Stadium.
Foul is on Christian Sitepu. Technical timeout here at Ton Bin Stadium, and it comes at exactly the right time for the Westport Malaysia Dragons. Just one field goal here in the third quarter, and as we step away, Warriors 53, Dragons 36. the Dragons had 34. They've only put one field goal up there, so that's a 21-2 run. Boehm, are we coming back? I meant how soon. Welcome back to Ho Chi Minh City. Gavin Edwards at the line. The Westport Malaysia Dragons suddenly bereft of offense. They have been outscored here to begin the third, 21-3, after leading going into the half 34-32, but the Indonesia Warriors have caught fire from three-point territory.
Well, basketball is a game of runs, Sean, and right now we're seeing an amazing 21-2 run from the Warriors. Let's see if the Dragons can get one of their own. So they're sticking with the 2-3 defense here against the Warriors.
Still no changes in the lineup that began the third quarter. Chris Daniels called for steps, handing it back to Malaysia.
And Gavin Edwards and Steve Thomas are absolutely battling down low in the post to establish position. These guys are working hard.
Off the glass, Justin Melton changing speeds on his way to the rack. John Smith, no look pass, and Daniels board and cord, 55-40 Warriors.
What a beautiful bounce pass from John Smith from the top of the key. Great look there from John Smith.
Hubbard from beyond the arc. Not sure why they're having Marcus Hubbard shoot three-pointers. His game is going to the rim.
They need him down low corralling rebounds and getting second chance points.
Left side three. Put back by Daniels in perfect position for the offensive board.
So Hubbard alters the Tepu's shot, but Chris Daniels is there in right place, right time, puts it back in for two.
Edwards with the right hand. Marcus Hubbard with a foul off the ball. Now the basket is going to count for Edwards, but a foul on Marcus Hubbard, and for the Malaysian big man, that will be his third foul.
As we watch the replay, Edwards with a nice up and under hook shot. You know, Marcus Hubbard has not been able to get his rhythm going with his new team, Sean. And he only has 1 point so far this game.
Ariel Vanguardia sitting Hubbard down. Satepu, little fake, and goes off the window. So added offense for the Warriors from Christian Satepu.
If Satepu is knocking down shots like that, the Warriors are going to be extremely hard to beat today.
Melton from downtown. John Smith. Wow, Indonesia so quick to get into position. And John Smith punishes the Dragons with another three. A look at Eric Tohir, one of the founders of the ABL, one of the owners of the Indonesia Warriors.
Along with Connor Wynn, managing director of the Saigon Heat. But Sean, the Warriors are putting on an absolute clinic in this third quarter. They remind me actually of the NBA's San Antonio Spurs. They're very unselfish, they swing the ball, and in this quarter, they are knocking down every shot they're taking. What a performance.
Edwards fouled on his way. Now Todd Purvis will make changes. And before that, Purvis will take a timeout as this one starting to get out of hand. If you're a Westport Malaysia Dragons fan, they now trail 62-51 42. The Warriors putting up 30 points over the last 7 minutes and 48 seconds. That is remarkable.
That is an incredible offensive performance from the Warriors. Wow, it is fun to watch. Threes being knocked down from all over the court. Great passes, great unselfish play, and better finishes.
Ariel Vanguardia at the half talked about how the game in the first half had been a grind. Very different here. The offense flowing perfectly for Indonesia. Todd Purvis is getting everything he wants from his complete lineup.
Yeah, and if you're Ariel Vanguardia, you really need to settle your team down and say no one has to play superhero ball now. Let's just slowly work our way back into this game, go back to our strategy, pound it down into Edwards, Tatua, and Hubbard, and let our outside guys, perimeter guys, make some shots.
And speaking of the perimeter, that's where they need to do a better job on defense, because they are getting killed from beyond the arc.
Yeah, the Warriors are absolutely picking apart the Dragons' 2-3 zone.
So Gavin Edwards looks to stop the rot for the Dragons. Ariel Vanguardia will get his best three-point shooter, Guga, back into the game.
I think the Dragons will really try to narrow this down to single digits before the fourth quarter.
Edwards makes both. So it's Melton, Guga, Seelan, Tautua, and Edwards for Malaysia. Small lineup. Jarek Kanyata, Usong, Smith, and now in the game, Donnie Restanto along with Richard Smith. John Smith off the screen, hits from beyond the arc.
Their offensive play broke down there, but John Smith picks up the slack and nails the three-pointer with Seelan right in his face.
Edwards working against Richard Smith. That is a mismatch favoring Edwards, and he exploits Richard Smith to earn 2 at the line.
And this is exactly what the Dragons need to do. They need to go pound the ball down into Edwards, and if the Warriors double team him, he'll find the open man for the shot. Wow, look at that spin move, and catches the foul from Richard Smith there.
The calm pace of Gavin Edwards. To look at him, you wouldn't be sure if the Dragons were up 20 or down 20. 1 of 2 for him. His team trails 65-45. Kanyata through a screen. Smith, free again, and connects from long distance.
So as we watch John Smith feeling it today in the Sunday night game, knocking down one more three.
Interesting to see Jarek Kanyata draw 2 defenders with him, leaving the red-hot John Smith open.
I mean, the Warriors are just identifying every defense that the Dragons are throwing at him, whether it's the 2-3 or the man-to-man defense in the last play, and Kanyata played the pick and roll perfectly and hit Smith for the open 3.
For the Dragons, their offense at the moment is Gavin Edwards and nothing else. He draws the foul. And that is the 5th team foul, Darren, against the Indonesia Warriors. To update you on the foul situation, Steve Thomas is sitting down with 4 fouls and 3 fouls on Christian Satepu and John Smith. For the Dragons, Marcus Hubbard has 4 and no one else has more than 2. So Edwards getting to the line, but the Dragons need much more than that.
Kenyatta is doing a great job of just reading the press and making the right decisions, whether to pass or keep the ball. I'm very impressed with his composure in this game.
Smith going inside, looking to work the pick and roll with Restanto, and traveling the call, handing the ball back to Indonesia.
And the Warriors just seem shell-shocked from this. The Dragons look shell-shocked after this run from the Warriors. They kind of don't know what to do out there except pound it into Edwards.
.26 seconds left in the third. Smith to Kenyatta. 1 second difference between game clock and shot clock, which is why Kenyatta holds. Vanguardia telling Bonson-Wee to get out on Kenyatta. Restanto, no good. Guga has time, launches. A third quarter the Westport Malaysia Dragons would prefer to forget. The Warriors come out and put up a remarkable 36 points and head into the fourth, leading the Westport Malaysia Dragons 68-46. The fourth quarter when we come back on the ABL live stream. Fourth quarter set to unfold here at Ton Bin Stadium. Caroline Mahendra, Darren Joe, and Sean Park were on hand. You're watching this one exclusively on the ABL live stream. That third quarter, 3-pointers, huge for the Indonesia Warriors.
John Smith, what can you say about the Warriors guard who has knocked down 5 out of 5 threes, contributing to his team's 10 threes in the game, and they're shooting a red-hot 67% from beyond the arc.
That's a remarkable statistic in any league. Third quarter now, Dragons have a long way to come back. Gavin Edwards with a quick basket. He is on the floor with Moala Taltua, Marcus Hubbard, Guga, and Bonson-Wee. John Smith, along with Jarek Kenyatta, Mario Wasong, Donnie Restanto, and Richard Smith to begin the fourth. Left side three, and the rebound ripped down by Edwards. Tautua, Edwards getting into position. He drives inside and is fouled by Restanto. Dragons very happy to stop the clock, down by 20, even if we've got pretty much the whole fourth quarter to come.
It's a great start for the Dragons in this fourth quarter. And who else do they go to but Gavin Edwards, their rock in the middle. Edwards now has 16 points, leading his team this game. Can't connect on that free throw.
Still 8 of 11 at the line today. The Indonesia Warriors are shooting 67% from beyond the arc, They're only shooting 60% from the free throw line.
That's an incredible stat there.
One miss and one make for Gavin Edwards, with his team down 19. Kanyata looking to attack. Wusong outside. Smith, his first miss from three-point land.
And the Warriors with another offensive rebound. They are leading the Dragons in rebounding 32-22, so getting a lot more looks.
Kanyata shaking free of his defender and knocks down the 18-footer.
When you have speed like Jarek Kanyata, as we see here, pretends like he's cutting to the hoop, steps back, and shoots it over the taller Edwards.
Gavin Edwards battling with Daniels.
And he is really putting the Dragons on his back. We've been just talking about Gavin Edwards for the past quarter. He wants this more than anyone, Gavin Edwards.
Third foul on Daniels.
Interesting stat, Sean, is that the Warriors have 24 points in the paint against the Dragons 14 points in the paint, even though the Dragons are a bigger team. So it's getting those second chance opportunities and executing on offense that's giving them some great looks.
Yeah, the Warriors have spread the floor, so well against boys. And Marcus Hubbard catching up to that one, so they'll stay on the Warriors' end of the floor. Melton inside to Hubbard. Hubbard through traffic and one for the Malaysian big man.
What a finish from Marcus Hubbard, looking to get into this game. And slowly, the Dragons are trying to chip away at this 18-point lead.
Ooh. 4 fouls on Christian Satepu.
And that's a bad miss from Marcus Hubbard. He just airballed his free throw, missed the rim by at least 2 feet.
Kanyata circles back out. Daniels regains control and is forced out by Edwards.
That's a tough call there, Sean. I mean, Chris Daniels really throwing some elbows around to create some space to get around Gavin Edwards, and Edwards is just looking at the ref like, what did I do, ref?
That's just Edwards' first foul of this game. Yeah, I'm not sure what Edwards did at all on that angle.
And a rare turnover from the Warriors.
Here's Hubbard. 2 defenders collapsing on him. Guga attacks the rim, and there Hubbard goes inside, and he'll head right back to the free throw line. So that we have a summit meeting amongst the Warriors.
We heard a gasp from the crowd here at Tom Benn Stadium as we see Hubbard go up for what looks like to be a huge dunk, but Richard Smith forces him to alter his shot midair, and he'll be going to the line for 2.
So this game was close in the first half, and then the Warriors just opened up a can in the third with 36 points, and they're presently on top by 17.
Whoa. Things getting really testy here between Chris Daniels and Gavin Edwards, and kind of a fire-ice matchup here. Gavin Edwards very calm, and Chris Daniels a fire plug for the Warriors, and emotions are running high here at Tom Benn Stadium. Wow.
Kanyata with Bonston Wee matched up with him. And there you go. As you said, Gavin Edwards and Chris Daniels locking horns. That's a double foul on both Daniels and Edwards. So the officials on the same page as you, Darren Joe. They're all over that Daniels-Edwards matchup.
And things are getting too physical, but what I love about both these players is they will not back down from anyone, and that's why they are the leaders of their two teams, Edwards and Chris Daniels.
Daniels doing work here against Edwards. Off plays, and Edwards blocking Richard Smith. Warriors arguing for a goaltend.
And if you love basketball, you love this matchup between Edwards and Daniels. Each of them picking up their level of play, bringing out the best of each other. Chris Daniels, the fantastic move and pass, but who recovers? No one other than Gavin Edwards for the block.
Three from outside, Mario Wasong, as the Warriors go right back to their number one weapon tonight. Justin Melton attacking the basket. That is continuation, and he'll go to the line.
I mean, does anyone in this league go from 0 to 30 to 15 to 60 miles per hour like Justin Melton? I mean, his lateral quickness and agility is something to behold. Cannot complete the three-point play.
And then loose ball, Melton's coming up with it. Inside. Oh, Daniels going up and down. No foul is called. The ball last touched by Malaysia. Another look.
We see Melton, he has a look with the right hand, but is intimidated by no one other than Chris Daniels. Can't complete the play.
Hubbard is lucky he did not get called for a foul as he collided into Chris Daniels.
Hubbard has four fouls, so he has to play good, smart defense.
Kanyada dances in and out. They swing it. Wusong from downtown. Too strong. Daniels snatching the offensive board, taking it away from Hubbard.
My man, oh my. What a rebound.
Smith with the floater. Goes glass for the deuce.
Chris Daniels with 15 rebounds, 5 assists. As we watch the replay, John Smith gets by the bigger Tatua with a nice left-handed floater off the glass. But Chris Daniels, man, oh man, 5 steals, 5 assists, 14 rebounds, 15 points. He is all over the Malaysia Dragons. They'll be having nightmares with him tonight.
Yet another double-double for Daniels. That has been his calling card all season for the Indonesia Warriors. Clock stopped with 6:23. Dragons down 19.
But the Dragons have done a good job in this fourth quarter of initiating the contact, being aggressive in the offense, and pounding the ball down low, and now the Warriors are in the penalty with 5 fouls. So it's a great way for them to slow down the clock and chip away at this lead the Warriors have.
Now, can they get a stop on the perimeter? Jared Kanyada. Wusong brings out Tatua with him.
Here we have a mismatch on both ends. Wusong against Tatua.
John Smith, left side 3. Daniels with the offensive rebound yet again.
Did John Smith just miss a three-pointer?
That is his second miss to go along with 5 makes.
He's shooting so well, it just seems weird when he doesn't drill it.
Wusong with 7 seconds on the shot clock down the middle. Van Guardia looking for Melton to push the pace. Edwards couldn't handle the pass.
Wow, and the Dragons are pressing hard, but the Warriors are just keeping their composure. Nothing is getting under their skin here. Impressive performance here from the Warriors.
Thomas out for the screen. Chris Daniels will attack. Thomas upstairs. Play continues. Justin Melton 1-on-2 on a keep. Up and under. And Todd Purvis calls timeout as the Warriors the Dragons cut the Warriors lead to 15. With 5:01 to go, we are midway through this fourth quarter. Dragons still have a long way to come back. We'll have it for you when we return to Ho Chi Minh City. .501 to go in the fourth, coming off a technical timeout. So Darren Joe, the Dragons in this fourth quarter, they're stopping the clock, they're getting to the line, but they're down 15, got half the fourth quarter to work with. You just wonder if they've left it too late.
Yeah, it might just be a little bit too late for the Dragons. Couldn't weather the offensive explosion from the Warrior perimeter players, that 21-2 run. They have drawn 5 fouls against the Warriors, so look for them to stay aggressive and try to get to the line.
Warriors now very patient on offense. 1 second on the shot clock. That's an air ball. That basket is not going to count. That's a shot clock violation. Wusong's attempt did not touch the rim, so a shot clock violation. Thomas's basket does not count. It remains 75-60. That basket does not count, we remind you. At the other end, Justin Melton with an and one. That'll make it 75-62 with 4:26 to go.
Melton is really showing us why he is. As we watch the replay, look at him split the defenders, go up and around Big Steve Thomas, who's called for the foul.
Goes by 4 guys by the time he scores that basket.
I mean, he has that rare combination of agility on the floor and explosive leaping ability, so even though he's a smaller player, he can still finish at the rim with the best of them. If the Dragons can get this lead down into single digits, the Warriors might start thinking about what's going on.
You can see Van Gardy at the bottom of your picture urging the Malaysian Dragons defense. That's all he's preaching right now. They need a stop on the heels of that Justin Melton 3-point play. The lead is down to 12 for the Warriors. Melton is all over Jarek Kanyata. Edwards banging with Daniels outside. Smith in rhythm. Loose ball and Hubbard comes up with it.
And Coach Van Gordy is urging his team to go, get up the floor.
Melton, spin move. Loose ball, Wusong comes up with a 2-on-1 with Kanyata. Crosses over. And no foul is called. Dragons get the ball back.
And I can tell you that Kanyata felt the footsteps of Marcus Hubbard following the play, almost LeBron James style, going for the behind block.
Edwards spins baseline. Ball comes out of his hands, and John Smith corrals it. Wusong, no look pass. Daniels, he'll go to the line for a 3-point play. The foul on Lo Shi-Fai.
As we see the replay, Lo Shi-Fai can't quite establish position. He's within the restricted area, so Chris Daniels will get a chance to convert a 3-point play. And that is a really tough sequence of events for the Malaysia Dragons. They had 2 offensive possessions where they could have scored, first with Melton with the turnaround jumper, and then Edwards. And then they get scored on really quickly. So let's see if they can come back here.
Gavin Edwards pulls it off the glass, and he's fouled by Richard Smith. stops the clock, 3:22. So assume for a moment Edwards hits both of these. The lead then would be 12. Still time. My assumptions, as they are so often, incorrect, as Edwards misses the first.
Time is running out for the Malaysia Dragons here. They might need to start really going for steals. Not let the Warriors run down the clock.
Kanyada. Crossover. And Tautua out on him. His feet were moving.
What a matchup we had there with Yerrick Kanyada, the speedster, against Marcus Hubbard. Fantastic defensive blocker.
That's the Dragons' fourth foul. So the Warriors inbound. Kanyada, kick out. Kanyada in the corner. Three. Can by Jarek Kanyada. Ariel Vanguardia wanting a timeout. The scorers table didn't hear him. Melton inside. Hubbard, Glass, 2. And it's an 80-65 lead.
Nice finish there from Hubbard.
Kanyada passes out of the double team. Now with Song. Tautua is out. There, Daniels setting the screen. Richard Smith had a quality look. Dragons need a quick basket here. And last touch by the Warriors. And Ariel Vanguardia will take a timeout. 2:11 to go. Warriors up 80-65. Just not enough time for Malaysia to get back into this.
As we see Justin Melton try to pass it off to Mo Tatua. The outstretched hand of Mario Wusong deflects the pass away. And the Dragons are giving it everything they got. But like you said, Sean, that deficit is just too big. Right now with 2 minutes and 11 seconds, 15 points down, they're going to need to start throwing up some threes.
Westport Malaysia Dragons will next be in action this coming Friday at Mava Stadium when they host the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers. You can see that game on Fox Sports Asia coming your way at 8 p.m. Hong Kong time on Friday, March 22nd. Also available on the ABL live stream. With a win here, the Indonesia Warriors would go to 9-3 and maintain sole possession of first place in the ABL standings. We talked about Marcus Hubbard at the beginning of this game, but really he has not been the factor we expected.
He has altered some shots on defense, but offensively, he's had a couple buckets late in the fourth, but the Warriors have done a good job of shutting him down.
Tautua outside. Goes to the cup, loose ball, and Jarek Kanyada in the perfect position for the rebound. Under 2 to go. John Smith, and there's the foul from Lo Shi Fai. It's the 5th, so Smith will go to the line.
Wow, and Seelan is checking in for Edwards here with 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Interesting play. Maybe Coach Vanguardia is going to go for a quick 3 here after getting the rebound.
And I'm not sure that the Malaysia Dragons have had a three-pointer in the second half. They did not get one in the third.
No, you're right. They have not made any three-pointers in the second half. So they came out on fire in the first and second quarters, but it's been a complete reversal in the second half as the Warriors perimeter players are on fire from the outside.
This timeout taken by Indonesia, I think just to give the players a blow more than anything else. But you talk about balanced offense, double-digit games for Mario Wasong, Chris Daniels, Christian Sitepu with 12 points, and 20 through 3 quarters for John Smith. So you're going to get, by the time this game's over, you're going to get 5 different players into double digits for the Indonesia Warriors.
And it just shows you, Sean, what a fantastic team effort this has been for the Warriors. Usually Stephen Thomas is their main guy who's putting up 15, 20 points a game, and he's a little bit under the weather today, and his teammates have really stepped up and gotten his back. In fact, Stephen Thomas not even on the floor.
He's not been needed here in the second half. Minute 49 to go. Warriors all over it, up 81-65. Showing once again why they are the defending ABL champions. Melton, spin move into the lane, and scores. The Warriors like department store mannequins on that one.
What a great move by Melton. Too bad it's just a little too late in the game.
Kanyada, 2 defenders coming over. Smith will step back and hit yet another triple.
I mean, what can we say about John Smith? He is absolutely on fire with a step back 3 in Loshi 5 space. Bam!
Edwards through the middle. Dragons ball with a minute 14.
And this is one of the few times I have ever seen Gavin Edwards mildly frustrated. I mean, that just shows how the Indonesia Warriors are playing great team defense on him.
Edwards off the inbound. No good on the 3.
And let's give a little credit to Yera Kanyada, who has time after time in this game broken down the really strong Dragons press, making great decisions with the ball.
Shot clock violation. Dragons at the other end of the floor. Loshi 5. 1 and out for the Dragons. Usong puts his back to the basket. Warriors simply looking to run the clock down. John Smith really feeling it. Misses that one, but gets it right back.
And Coach Van Guardia having his players press to the very end, and that's why we love Coach Van Guardia. You know, he gets his players to give everything they have. Even when they're down by 17 points, he's still telling them, make the right play.
And they force an over and back. Hubbard down, Sealand in the corner. 3 is short, and that will do it. The Indonesia Warriors take the Westport Malaysia Dragons apart, 84-67. A 3-point shooting clinic put on by the defending ABL champions. They go to 9-3, and for the Westport Malaysia Dragons, they will drop to 6-5.
It's a really tough loss for the Malaysia Dragons. I mean, the first half they played the Warriors as close as they could have played them. It was an incredible inside-out game on both teams. And then in that third quarter, man, the Warriors just exploded. I mean, we know the Warriors will make the right play at the right times, but they were making all of their shots.
That was sensational shooting in the second half by the Indonesia Warriors. Over 60% from three-point territory, which is a huge statistic in any league, let alone the ABL. Remarkable.
As you said, Sean, their three-point percentage was higher than their free throw percentage, which is only 60%. And that 22 run was something to watch.
And from there, the Indonesia Warriors simply wore down the Westport Malaysia Dragons, who really now go back to the drawing board with a game coming up on Friday against the JobStreet.com Singapore Slingers. Todd Purvis got all he wanted from his players today, and he's standing by with Caroline.
Thank you very much, Sean. I'm right here with Coach Todd from, of course, Indonesia Warriors. Won really big. First half, you were down by 2 points. Came back with a bam. What did you do different for the second half, Coach?
We were just able to make some shots. Obviously, we got pretty hot from three-point range, and that's as well as we've shot the ball that third quarter was. And it's a very tough team we played tonight. And I know that's a playoff team, and thank heavens for that third quarter, and that gave us a little bit of a cushion.
Of course, this is the first ABL Hoop Fest ever in ASEAN Basketball League. What is your opinion about this tournament itself?
Just a wonderful time. I think the Saigon Heat put on a great show. Hoop Fest in its entirety was just enjoyable, not only for the team, but hopefully for the fans as well. And I think it represents the ABL exactly how it ought to be.
All right, and Slammers is going back to, of course, Mahaka on the 27th. Are you going to have preparation for that?
Certainly. We've got about 8 days or 9 days before that game, and so we'll be preparing the entire time. And they're a much improved team, a team that we have beaten already, but certainly we can't afford to slip at all as we prepare for a playoff run.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Todd Purvis, right here from Indonesia Warriors. We'll back to you.
Thank you. Todd Purvis saying, hey, we got some shots today. That's really an understatement. Overall, 50% from deep. That is really amazing for these Indonesia Warrior team. Not a team that was typically noted for three-point shooting coming into this one.
Yeah, their perimeter players absolutely went on fire. Leading the charge was John Smith, making 6 out of 10 three-pointers. And we didn't talk much about him, but Mario Wusong knocked down 4 as well to go along with Christian Satepu scoring in double digits and knocking down 2 threes. So the Warriors got great scoring from their perimeter to help out Steve Thomas and Chris Daniels. Can we talk about Chris Daniels? What an amazing performance from him.
Just on the glass, active hands in transition defense, and the Westport Malaysia Dragons simply had no answer for Chris Daniels, either scoring or defending him in the paint.
17 points, 17 rebounds, 6 steals, 3 blocks. If there's an MVP for this game, despite the outside shooting of his teammates, it's Chris Daniels.
Let's go back to Caroline Mahendra.
All right, thank you very much, Sean. I'm right here with the player of the game of the last ASEAN Basketball League Hoop Fest Saigon 2013. It is John Smith coming back to his home last season. So how do you feel of gaining so much points for Indonesia Warriors and, of course, leading them to this W?
First of all, I just want to thank God. He gets all the glory for this. But we've been shooting the ball as guards, in the slump a little bit. But I'm happy I could come through for my team. We rallied around each other and we grinded out and got the W.
And how do you feel coming back to Vietnam? This is like a homecoming for you. You know the stadium itself. Was it easy? Was it not? Do you have a chip on your shoulder to win this game tonight and on the Hoop Fest?
It's not necessarily a chip on my shoulder. Vietnam will always have a place in my heart. I miss the fans and the people. But, I'm a Warrior right now.
And he is. Thank you very much, Johnson Jr. right here from Indonesia Warriors. And back to you, Sean.
It's easy to forget that John Smith was a replacement before the season began for the injured Stanley Pringle. So he was not on the Warriors roster when the season started, but they brought him in an awful hurry. And what a contribution he is making as they are making a run to defend their ABL title.
He scores a season-high 26 points tonight, but he's also a great player on the defensive end, usually the one responsible for pressing the other team's point guard. So John Smith is really showing that he can contribute in a big way to this #1 team in the league, Indonesia Warriors.
26 points today for John Smith as we break down all the statistics in this one. Field goal percentage, 48% overall, including 50% shooting from downtown. Rebounds, a 9 rebound edge for the Warriors. And as you point out, Darren, the assists, 17 dimes for the Warriors today.
Just shows how well the Warriors work as a team, how well they're able to break down every sort of defense that Coach Ariel Van Guardia was throwing at them, whether it was a press, a 2-3, a man defense. So tough loss for the Malaysia Dragons, but I think they have a lot to look forward to with once they incorporate Marcus Hubbard and Justin Melton, of course.
And they've got a big game coming up on Friday. JobStreet.com, Singapore Slingers. That's a team that the Dragons want to put in their rear-view mirror and stay on course for a playoff spot. So the Westport Malaysia Dragons now an even 6-6 and really want to stay within hailing distance of the San Miguel Beermen and Indonesia Warriors and hopefully get a home playoff date in the semifinals.
Absolutely, Sean. The San Miguel Beermen and the Indonesia Warriors are sort of pulling away from the pack, which leaves the Dragons, the Slingers, and the Slammers competing for those last 2 playoff spots.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll put the finishing touches on this one, a blowout win for the Indonesia Warriors here in Ho Chi Minh City.